Hello, everyone. We are talking about Social Security again, and we are talking about absolutely nothing that's going to fix it, of course. Within something like the next, I think, 8 or 9 years, Social Security will be completely insolvent. They won't be able to get enough money in to pay out everyone they need to. So what are they going to do? And this is a very neglected issue. And as we'll see, the one and only thing they're talking about doing is not going to work and is not going to get passed and is just really dumb. And they won't talk about the thing that you need to do to actually fix it. So let's look at this. My fill light just went out. Hang on a second. Okay, that's looking about right. All right, hopefully that's our glitch for this video. There might be some edits. Just to let you know, this is a GOP plan to, guess what, raise the retirement age. And this is what they've always been thinking about. They started doing this. Traditionally, the retirement age has been 65. If you were born in a certain year, I think it's 1960, it's going to raise to 67. In other words, they're going to raise it for the Xers. Well, they already have. For us Xers, we don't retire at 65. We retire at 67. That's when we get benefits. Yeah. Boomers are going to get all their money, but not us Xers. So now they want to raise it again. And this is on reason.com from Eric Boehm. And you can see there Mike Johnson, that milquetoast of I said that about the last guy too. They just have milquetoasts for House speakers. So yeah, what we're talking about here is their amazing plan to raise the eligibility age for benefits from 67 to 69. Yep. They're going to keep taxing us the same. Taxes aren't going to go down. This is about cutting benefits. So yeah, we're talking about that massive omnibus budget plan. And Boehm says, so the call for raising the retirement age by 2 years, a change that the RSC plan says won't even be implemented in the short term to spare Americans currently approaching Social Security eligibility, would barely even be accurately described as a first step. It's also not a novel or surprising development. Upping the age was part of the George W. Bush administration. And just that, even just that, the White House immediately blasted the proposal for trying to raise the retirement age and reiterated the promise made at the State of the Union address to block any proposed cuts to Social Security. With no comment whatsoever about what you're going to do about the looming insolvency. Yeah. I mean, it'll drive you crazy. Other Democrats pounced, left-leaning media jumped aboard the messaging train. Slate dedicated hundreds of words to analyzing the potential electoral consequences of the proposal, with nary a mention of the policy substance or how Democrats plan to address Social Security's looming insolvency. Meanwhile, the New Republic described the higher retirement age as a plan to gut Social Security, without explaining how exactly the program would be gutted by a reform that puts it on more stable fiscal footing, if it even does that. Indeed, even some Republicans quickly threw the higher retirement age idea under the bus, like Josh Hawley. He said, horrible idea, totally opposed to this. Republicans are so stupid. Okay, that's a true statement there. That is absolutely a true statement. If they want to go to working people and say, congratulations, you have paid into this your whole life, your payroll taxes, and now we're going to take part of it away from you. We're going to make you work even longer than we said beforehand. I think that's just the stupidest thing I ever heard. And Boehm says, look, I get it. It's 2024, and the only thing that matters is the Electoral College scoreboard. But following the polls and looking no farther ahead than the next election is how politicians have squandered 3 decades that could have been used to make changes that averted Social Security's insolvency, which the program has been warning about since the mid-1990s. And also, the solution. What's the solution? Means testing. I put this a long time ago in my video, How to Argue for Social Security. The numbers might be out of date, but the concepts aren't. It's still the same idea. People over 65, on the whole, are the richest age demographic in America. So this, for the most part, is a transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. Now the exception is the lowest quintile of retirees, people 65 and over in that age group. The lowest quintile are doing worse. But man, that highest quintile, I don't really feel all that bad saying, if you got a $2 million home on a lake and a yacht, you probably don't need Social Security payments. So how about some means testing? Maybe that upper quintile doesn't get theirs. Just saying. No one wants to talk about that, do they? Do enough of that, you won't have to raise the retirement age for everyone. So, see, the trustees that oversee Social Security estimate the benefits will be cut by 23% starting in 2033, with further cuts needed in future years unless policymakers make changes to the program's fundamental math. I showed this a long time ago too. It's mathematically unsustainable. No matter what you do, there's going to come a point, sooner rather than later, because that's exponential growth for you, that the amount you'll have to pay out will be greater than the amount you can take in. It's just inevitable. All things considered, raising the retirement age by a mere 2 years is a rather tepid reform, one that arguably ought to be opposed for not going far enough, and one that certainly won't fix Social Security's problems by itself. A more ambitious proposal would be to phase out Social Security entirely. Now he's singing my song. Allow younger workers to handle their own retirement planning via private investments, and implement a federal safety net program to keep elderly Americans from falling into destitution. I talked about means testing. What if we just did this in a phase out of Social Security? The top 2 quintiles. Don't get there's something like 23% the trustees say will need to be cut. Well, if we cut the top 2 quintils, that's 40%. Assuming it's distributed evenly, which I don't think it is. The rich are getting more. It's very regressive. But yeah, and it's a regressive tax, so that's just how it comes out. But you cut the top 2 quintils, you could actually cut that 40% and leave, what would that be, 17%, 23 to 40, 17% that you could raise on the lowest quintile. So the poorest seniors would actually be getting more. It's a regressive tax. Maybe we should make it regressive benefits. The poor get more, and up to the rich getting less. You could do that. Take care of poor seniors who you've been taking their money from their whole lives, and just give them something while you phase it out for everyone else. You would just keep over time dropping that amount and dropping that amount. After facing decades of uncertainty about whether they will receive Social Security benefits, Americans should be glad to have politics removed from their retirement planning and be able to handle their own assets. Consider this. The current Social Security tax is 12.4%. Now, they don't show that to you. You need to understand that right now. They don't show that to you because they don't want you to see that. The only part of that that shows on your paycheck is 6.2%. Your employer pays the other 6.2%, but it's still getting paid. I gotta tell you, if you're self-employed, you see it. I'm self-employed. I pay the entire 12.4. I see it. Yeah. If you even took 5% of your pay and put it in a basic annuity, you would get a lot more back than you would from Social Security. Because it's just, and especially since even now, it's been the case for decades that I think if you're a black male, you're actually getting less money out of Social Security than you put in. I think that's about the point where it's becoming the case for the rest of us, and it's just going to get worse. You are not going to get out what you put in. It's just mathematically impossible. The math does not work out. So, I mean, if you're even getting like 3%, 5%, whatever, from an annuity, that's easy to find. I just recently socked some money into a CD that was 4.85%. You can find them. Yeah. You can do that. Just take a fraction of what the government is taking from you in your Social Security tax. Take a third of it. Put it in private investments, and you will have much, 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 much more than you will. Oh, well, the stock market might crash. Okay, well, don't put in the stock market if you're worried about that. What do you think Social Security is going to do? The stock market might crash. Social Security will crash. And you need to accept that. And the younger you are, the less you're going to have to put in to have all that money. I mean, the more you can put in, the better. But I'll point you again to the Millionaire Next Door. They have a guy working as a janitor, starts at age 18, retires at 65, and he's a smoker. And he's, I forget how much a day, $5 a day, on cigarettes, because he smokes like 2 packs a day. Depending on where you live, that's going to vary. Instead of smoking, he takes that money and puts it in an interest-bearing account. He does that through his whole working life as a janitor. Just that amount that he otherwise would have paid for cigarettes. By the time he retires, the amount he's socked away, plus all of that compound interest, he's a millionaire. He's like a $2 millionaire, I think. It was over $2 million that he gets. That's a lot of what they call $1 million choices. Well, what's Social Security? If you could have that, if you could have 12.5% to sock away into interest-bearing account, just like compound interest do the work for you. Do it when you're young enough. Yeah, you're going to be set when you retire. That's the thing. People don't see what this is taking away from us. Remember your bastion. It's the seen and the unseen. Let me get this last paragraph, though. But if a modest, obvious reform is going to be greeted with a caterwaul of partisan demagoguery as Democrats seek to claim an electoral advantage, and that sends populist Republicans scurrying away from their party's own plans, that says more about the current state of fiscal policy than anything you'll actually find in the GOP's proposal. And I think the thing that will make this so effective is raising the retirement age. Like I said, that's going to hit poor seniors as well, because everyone gets the retirement age raised. And I mentioned this also in How to Argue for Social Security. You can take out early, but it's a penalty. And if you take out late, you get more money. But with the way the math works out, if you're rich, you come out better if you draw out early. If you're poor, you have to wait longer to retire to come out better. Which is kind of flipped around from the way it should be, shouldn't it? Because if you're rich, do you really need it? Yeah. But again, means testing. Just say, okay, they're above this amount. You have this much net worth. You got a $2 million home on the beach. And you got a yacht. And you got all this wonderful. So you're living in the lap of luxury. Yeah, I think you're good. I think you're good. I think you don't need this. I think we can focus on the seniors who need this. And keep Social Security solvent long enough to phase it out, which we're going to have to do. Because even if you said, okay, we're just going to cut that 23% and do it that way, Well, it's just going to get worse in the future. That 23% was just for now, for like 2033, I think. But as the years go by, that's going to have to be more. Because that's just the way the math works out. That's just the way it works out. You can't escape it. And this is just one more case, as we've seen with so many other things, where politicians just have to deny basic math. And if you have to deny that, then you don't have anything good to offer to anyone. So thank you so very much for watching. Comments for the comment god, shares for the share throne. Please hit like, subscribe, and the bell. And as always, go to donate.bogosity.tv to keep me doing what I do. As always, you can go to Patreon or Subscribestar and get in while the prices are low. Because next month, the prices for all of the different tiers on Patreon and Subscribestar, they're going to go up. I hate having to do that. It's inflation. I just hate it. But if you get in now, then at least for a certain period of time, you'll be able to stick with the old tiers, whereas new people will have to come in on the new higher tiers. So if you get in now, get in before the end of the month. I promise I won't raise them before the end of the month. I don't know exactly when they're going up. I'm going to have to plan this all out. But get in now, and so you can get these videos early and ad-free, get access to the live streams, special Discord channels, all sorts of benefits. Thank you so very much for watching. Until next time, stay strong and be free.